For Christmas, I received a lovely image of Pope John Paul II and Mother Teresa, two of my favorite people, both of them saints in our present time. Sitting in the office one day with another staff member, we were musing on the question, what makes them different? What allowed them to accomplish such deeds, to achieve such greatness? Certainly it wasn't because of their privileged past or their wealth. Certainly it wasn't because they found themselves in perfect circumstances or in perfect health. So what was it that made them different? Now, sure, each of them has their gifts, but are those gifts so different than, so better than the gifts that we now have present in our room right now? So why are they different than us? Pope John Paul II has accompanied me on this journey to the priesthood practically from the beginning. It was upon hearing of his death that I made that firm inner commitment to become a priest, to share with others what he had first given to me. While in seminary, I was the only student who remained all 4 years in exactly the same room. Not coincidentally, that room was located in the far corner of the Pope John Paul II wing. Every day, multiple times every day, for 4 years, I walked up and down that long hallway with images of the saint covering both the left and right sides. Each one of those images having his token phrase, "Do not be afraid." But do not be afraid of what? By that time, I had already reconciled with my sinful past. There were no more skeletons lingering in the closet. By that time, I had already sold my house. I had quit my job. I had had the difficult conversation with my parents. I had said yes to God's invitation. I was in the seminary. I was on my way to the priesthood. What did I have to be afraid of? But the great saint was not saying, do not be afraid of letting go of your past, nor was he saying, do not be afraid of what may come in the future. Rather, he was saying, do not be afraid of living a life of radical holiness. Now, this may sound funny, perhaps even a little bit ironic. I mean, isn't that why we're all here? To grow in holiness. Isn't that why you're here? But what does that mean? What does a life of holiness entail? And what will it cost? The one who is not afraid of holiness does not know what is being asked of them. They don't know the dangers of persevering in that lifestyle. They do not know the price that will be exacted from them. Jesus Christ is our model for holiness, and he continues to show us each and every day in the Eucharist, stripped naked, appearing frail and vulnerable before people, and freely giving himself into the hands of sinners, and to do it lovingly. Not to be afraid of becoming irrelevant or obsolete or an outcast. Not to be afraid of putting aside former ways of satisfaction or self-definition. Not to be afraid of saying, this is my body and this is my blood, freely given up for you. And then to do it in the millions of little ways in which people make demands upon us and upon our time. It is safe and secure to be a secluded island unto oneself, to remain within the known confines of our rooms or of our rules. But it is frightening to enter into the uncertainties and the unknowns of a relationship, especially a relationship with the living God. Not so much for fear of his judgment, but for fear of his all-consuming love. You get close to that fire and you will get burned. Who will I be when the consuming fire of his love transforms me into someone other than I am right now? It's a question that I don't know. He says, it is too little for you to be my servant. This is what the Lord proclaims to Isaiah. You will be a light to the nations, to carry my salvation to the ends of the earth. John the Baptist, from the very point of being in the womb of his mother Elizabeth, is called to point to one who comes after him, yet ranks ahead of him. The Lamb of God, who takes away the sins of the world. Each of them heard the call. Each of them heeded the Lord's invitation. And each of them gave a wholehearted response, not only with their lips, but with the entirety of their lives. Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will. This is the motto of every single saint that has ever lived. This is the one key that opens the one door to the one path of holiness, and therefore the one key, the one door, and the one path to happiness. But this call hasn't ceased, nor is it limited just to ordained priests and prophets. St. Paul addresses all of us when he says, all of us who have been consecrated in Jesus Christ and who have been called to holiness, who have been called to be set apart for a sacred and a specific mission. But are we willing to suffer that? Are we willing to suffer a life, our life, the life of our family, a life that is set apart, a life that is different than what has become so normalized around us? In our church calendar, in our liturgical year, we have entered into ordinary time. But these are far from ordinary times. How will we respond to these times? Will we become angry or bitter? Will we begin to despair or grow depressed? Will we become cynical or isolate ourselves from others? Or will we have the ability, will we have the heart to be grateful, to give God thanks each and every day that he has allowed us, even more that he has chosen us for times such as this, times when good and evil are locked in an epic battle with one another? Are we proud to be a part of that battle? For now, no longer, no one has the right to mediocrity. The time has come to repropose wholeheartedly to everyone the high standard of ordinary Christian living. Ordinary Christian living that is exemplified by Pope John Paul II, by Mother Teresa. God is not stingy in his gifts. His graces are not a diminishing commodity, nor does he arbitrarily choose his favorites. God's gifts are poured out on us, on all of us, within an excessive, overflowing abundance at each and every moment. And they are there within our reach. I want those. I know that I do. I can see them. I can smell them. I can taste them. But what? But maybe I'm still afraid. What separates us from the likes of a Pope John Paul II, of a Mother Teresa, from their greatness, from their holiness? They wanted it. More than anything else, they just wanted it.